Now, tonight, we know the administration knew for 3 years that if you liked your plan, you could not keep your plan. Now, they clearly lied to you, the American people, and obviously they didn't care. Remember, this was their promise.
Under the reform we're proposing, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. And if you do have health insurance, we'll help make sure that your insurance is more affordable and more secure. If you like your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan. If you've got health insurance through your employer, you can keep your health insurance, keep your choice of doctor, keep your plan. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan, period.
Not true. Tonight, NBC News is in fact reporting that the Obama administration knew as early as July of 2010 that, quote, 50 to 75% of the 14 million consumers who buy their insurance individually can expect to receive a cancellation letter or the equivalent over the next year. So how are they going to spin this? We bring in our distinguished studio audience for reaction. Good to see everybody. Question, hands up. How many think that the president did not lie? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, you guys stay right there. We're going to start with you. Let's begin. Ainsley, co-host Fox and Friends first. Why don't we explain? Because the original law, to be fair to the president, okay, did actually say in the law, if you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Right. Then that was up to March 23rd of 2010. Mm-hmm. Then in July, what happened? 3 months later,
we're learning that he did realize that you weren't going to be able to keep your plan, or many people weren't going to. Statistically, we're talking 40 to 67% of individuals will lose their coverage. 19 million people. There is evidence to prove that the president did know that you could not keep your plan, or many people would not be able to keep their plan.
Pretty amazing. And that means if, for example, if there was any change in coverage whatsoever, all of a sudden everything got grandfathered out. Basil, you raised your hand. Yeah. Explain to me. They changed the law from what it originally said. The president, how many times did this president make that promise? If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. Well, now as many as 19 million people may lose their plan.
Two things. One, the insurance companies are not conforming. They can actually conform to be within what Obamacare is asking to do. They're actually not doing that. Number two, the fact of the matter is that a lot of the plans that of the people that we're talking about are the so-called skinny plans. When they go into the exchange, they actually have the opportunity to get a better plan than they have now.
If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. What part of that don't you understand? Seriously.
I understand that quite well, but I do not want to blame Obamacare for that. I would blame the insurance companies for that. In the same way that the CEOs.
That is the old bait and switch. And I think, you know, the vice president had it right back in, what was it, May of 2010 when he said this was a big effing deal, because it is. You had how many? You've got 800,000 people in New Jersey. 800,000 people in New Jersey had their insurance canceled. You had 300,000 Floridians that are Blue customers, and 119,000 Blue Shield Californians lost their coverage. That's nearly 2 million people have lost their coverage, and supposedly only 500,000 have signed up.
Wait a minute. Well, we don't know. We didn't get an answer today on that very question.
Supposedly, that's what they were expecting.
We know we've got 800,000 Chris Hahn, Chuck Schumer Jr. 800,000 people in New Jersey. San Francisco Chronicle says 900,000 people in California. We know about 300,000 people in Florida. If you like your plan, Chris, you can keep your plan. Is that a lie? Should we expect the president?
It was not an accurate statement. I will never accuse the president of lying, but it was clearly not an accurate statement, and he should never have made it, and the people in his administration that let him make that statement should not be in his administration anymore. He should have said that if you have a crappy plan, you're going to lose it.
Biggest breathtaking lie since Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky, except the American people are getting hosed here. Listen, where is Chuck Schumer in Ed Snowden's old hotel room in Hong Kong, the utterly shameless hiding out? Where is he? Listen, Kathleen Sebelius and President Obama have done more to advance the conservative cause now since Ronald Reagan and Barry Goldwater combined. This is a disaster. It's a breathtaking lie.
Why does the Republican Party continue to have record low approval ratings if Kathleen Sebelius and Barack Obama have done so much to advance the
This is to Obama what the Iran hostage crisis was to Jimmy Carter. That's what this is.
How can you compare the two when you're trying to ensure 50 million Americans, comparing it to taking hostages for 365 days?
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. The intent was there. It was well intentioned. I don't disagree with that.
What part of, if you like your plan, now look, I love my kids aren't perfect, but if they lie to me, they're really in trouble. I can deal with the little mistakes and mischief kids get in. but if they lie, they're in trouble.
Look,
the president said, if you like your plan, you can keep it.
I don't think the president.
Help me out.
I don't think the president lied. I think he's got to do a better job explaining this.
Yes.
But I think you have to. But I think
he
you have
didn't
to
explain
understand.
it well.
But I think you also have to understand that you're taking. This is a very small slice of those
You're
who
right.
are insured.
They don't matter.
19 million.
Please, I'm not saying they don't matter. I'm saying
19
they completely
million?
matter. It is a small
matter.
slice of those who are
All right.
insured.
Michelle, then Jennifer. Michelle, go ahead. Hang on, and then we'll get to DeRoy. Michelle.
Well, I think the big issue here, the website is not a big deal. The big deal here is that it's not going to work because in order for Obamacare to work, 2.7 million young people who are healthy need to sign up. And the young people who are trying to sign up are seeing an error page and they're not going to go back because they don't have time. They don't want to go through the hassle. The old and sick people are the ones refreshing trying to get this. The young people don't sign up, Obamacare dies.
By the way, poor Ainsley Earhart.
I will say, and more to that point,
Yeah.
the elderly people are the ones that are sitting in front of their computers trying to log on regularly. The young people are not going to do that unless you're like me and you're getting paid to do that on your show.
Right.
But most people don't have the time to do that. So what's going to happen? The younger people are not going to sign up. They're going to be penalized. But hey, what's the big deal? The penalty is $95 a year if you don't sign up. Why don't you just pay the $95 versus the $250 a month? And then when you have a baby or you get sick, then you buy in.
Jennifer Stefano, I spoke with a woman on my radio show today. She was featured in the LA Times. Her premiums are going up. She's 4 months pregnant, nearly tripling.
Yes.
And she voted for Obama twice and regrets it. This is happening now. As many as 19 million people this could happen to.
Sure. And which is why I say to women, you really need to wake up and that you cannot focus on whether or not a politician has good intentions. We must focus on the results. And let me take that small sliver of 19 million people and tell you what's happening to them when they walk through their door at night and they have been dropped under Obamacare. Their children cannot get picked up under CHIP for 6 months because of federal statutes. They cannot get insurance for themselves. If they're in California and they lost their insurance and they try to go on the exchange, they won't have access to the best hospitals, to Cedars-Sinai or to anywhere else, to the specialist. So it doesn't matter that you're, quote, covered under excuse me, you will not be covered under those.
John, I like my health care plan. I can't keep my health care plan. I got this letter in the mail Monday of last week.
Can we pan
and this
in on
letter
that?
basically says that my plan has been canceled. It all runs out December 31 of this year.
Let me jump
and
up
you can
here.
take a look at that. That's what a cancellation letter looks like. This is what Obamacare is. You have insurance, you like it, and it gets taken away from you.
What does it say here? Read the pertinent part.
The pertinent part says right here, your existing policy will end and be replaced with a new policy and new premium rates upon renewal in 2014. And this is because of federal health care reform called the Affordable Care Act, the, quote, ACA, unquote.
Wow.
So this is what Obamacare does to people. You lose your insurance. And by the way, people say, oh, you'll get a better plan. I like this plan. I don't want to get a better plan. I want to keep my plan. I want to keep the plan I have. I don't want to get a better plan that Obama or anybody else wants to give me. I'm happy with the plan I've got.
Brian, hang on.
It's not a better plan. It's a higher premium. It's a higher copay. And guess what? People are. It is. You're right. We don't. And we're not going to know because our system has failed.
Hang on. DeRoy Murdoch wants to keep his plan. The president sold this that you can keep your plan. Now, I'm not even discussing the higher premiums people are paying. We'll get to that later. Why shouldn't DeRoy, friend of mine, be able to keep the plan when the president promised him that?
Well, his plan apparently doesn't comply to the law.
Did the president say that?
So no, let's be clear. But hold on. We've got to make sure that people who have pre-existing conditions can be covered. We have to care about everybody. I understand that your plan has to change, but guess what? Your plan was not good of a plan. That's the issue.
Hold on, let DeRoy.
And I resent the government taking it away from me, taking something from me that I like, that I paid for, and I was happy with. These new plans require things like pediatric vision care, maternity care, et cetera, et cetera. I don't have any kids. Why am I suddenly going to be paying for the children I don't have?
One exit question. The president didn't say everybody's got to be all in. He made a specific promise. He said the average family, too, would save $2,500. Why, as a liberal, would you justify and make excuses to DeRoy, who's one of millions of Americans that are now not able to keep their plan? Why do you justify that?
Because Obamacare is taking us in the right direction. I believe. No, I mean that's the bottom line. It's making us safer as a people.
We'll get to you, I promise, when we get back. We got to take a break. Coming up next, more with our lively studio audience. But first, he's never been afraid to call out the administration, and he's not stopping now. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. He joins us next to tell us what he expects to hear from Secretary Sebelius. She'll be on Capitol Hill tomorrow. That much more in the studio audience edition of Hannity continues. Stay with us right there.